here we are again. All right, we're going to talk today about predictions, about making a prediction. And you guys are really, really good at this. So this lesson should be super easy for you, and doing the IXL today should be super easy for you. Making predictions is something that's super easy for you. And we got really good at this through our read alouds this year, reading the stories that we read. Mason Buttle, we had a lot of predictions in. Number of the Stars, we had a lot of predictions. And Ember, tons and tons of predictions. Mostly because there were so many questions. When you have a book that leaves you wondering about things, you start making predictions. You start guessing what's going to happen, right? But I want to talk to you about making good predictions today, all right? So here's my board today. And I did some drawing. Look at my fancy little drawing here. I'm getting better with my drawings. Okay, so making predictions. So when we predict, we want to make a good guess. So we don't want it just to be any old guess. We don't want to just make crazy, wild guesses. We want them to be really good, educated guesses, intelligent guesses about what we think is going to happen next. That's what a prediction is, and you know that. So we don't want it to be just something really far-fetched. So if we're reading about the city of Ember, we don't want to guess that, oh, there's going to be a tsunami that's going to wipe out the city, because that doesn't make sense. We know that they don't have oceans. We know that they don't have that kind of a environment that would have a tsunami, right? So that's kind of a wild guess. That doesn't make any sense at all. We want our guesses to be educated and to really be something that goes along with what's happening in the story. Okay, so we can predict. Here's some different ways of predicting, or times to predict. We can predict before we even start reading. Before we even start reading, we can start predicting. When you have a book, you can take a look at your book. I put here the cover of The People of Sparks. Here's one of the covers. There's a couple. I'm going to show you the other one in a minute. You can take a look and you can start predicting right away. You do this a lot when you're choosing a book. You pick up a book, and before you even start reading it, you look at the cover, you look at the picture, you look at the title, and you think, I wonder what this book is going to be about. And you make some predictions, and that kind of helps you make your choice if you're going to read it or not. So before you even start reading, you start making predictions. Here's when we do most of our predictions: while we're reading. So you're reading along and something happens and you go, oh, I bet that's going to happen next, right? You use all of your background knowledge, you use what you know, you use what you're reading to make those predictions, right? While you're reading, we do lots of predictions. And then even after we read, we're still making predictions, because sometimes books leave us on cliffhangers. Or after a chapter, maybe after you've read a chapter, you're predicting what's going to happen in the next chapter. Sometimes, like the City of Ember, that left us on the hugest cliffhanger ever, right? We are definitely making predictions about what's going to happen in The People of Sparks, right? And did you see that Mrs. Tayo put up the first chapter of The People of Sparks? So you're going to get to see what's going on there. So we're already making predictions about this book after we read Ember. So we do it a lot when there's a series, right? Even when it's not a series, like when we read Mason Buttle, we kept thinking, well, I bet this is what's going to happen. I bet this is going to happen. Even though we knew that there wasn't a sequel, we still make predictions after we've read a book. Okay, so to do our predictions, we often use these things. We often use the title. Lots of times the title will give us some ideas of what to predict. We often use the cover. We can use the cover, we can use the picture. So let's take a look. Here's the cover for The People of Sparks. This is the original cover that came out, and it just shows the land, and it shows this plant kind of starting to grow. And if we use our background knowledge and we think about, that's my dog, can you hear her? We interrupt this program to bring you my dog barking. Here she is.
Just fed me.
And here's Mr. Reading coming to get her, because she's just got fed and she's still barking. So we have to interrupt this program for our dog barking. Okay, so if we take a look, if you remember from Ember, Lena was given that bean from Clary, and she put it in the pot, and it started to grow, and it grew into a plant like this. And Clary told her that it represented new life. Do you remember that? That's our background knowledge. That's what we remember from our old story. So if we take that background knowledge and then we take this cover, we can think the people of Sparks, new life. So that gives us kind of a clue. We can make some inferences, some predictions about what might happen in this story with new life. Think about that, right? Okay, so there's our prior knowledge. And then you also, of course, use what you're reading to make your predictions. But here's the key. Here's the most important thing. And I had to squeeze it down here in the bottom because I was running out of room. But your predictions, they're going to change. They will, and I underlined that 3 times, will change as you read. So you might think one thing, but then you read a little bit more, and all of a sudden you're thinking something different, right? So here's the next cover I want to show you. This is the original cover from Sparks, but here's the other cover. Lots of times publishers come out with a second cover to get kids re-interested in a book. Can you see something different in this one? I'm not sure how great you can see this. I'm going to hold it right up close. There's like a staircase and some fire and somebody running down a spiral staircase. Wonder if we can make some predictions based on that cover. Interesting, right? Yeah. So making predictions, but we have to make sure that they're good predictions. All right, let me see. So here is the cause of all of these interruptions. My pup. She's the cause of all of this trouble that we're having today. Can you tell everybody? Goodbye, have a good day. See you tomorrow.